The Galar region. It's beautiful, has plenty to discover, rich in its history, and has not one Zubat living in it. It truly is the place to be. At least I think it is. I can't say much for other people. Yes, I did actually enjoy the newest Pokemon games. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Of course, we're all aware of the challenging pre-release it had, but that didn't skew my excitement for these games in any way. I like Pokemon, and I'll keep playing new releases, especially when it's a new generation with all new Pokemon to discover. This is the second generation of Pokemon that I followed the pre-release of, the first being Generation 7. I'm really happy that not much was actually shown to us before release, as it let me discover what the majority of the game had to offer firsthand. Unfortunately though, it's also apparent that there wasn't really much to show outside of new Pokemon. Before I get into why I did and also didn't like parts of Sword and Shield, I'm just letting you guys know that, spoilers. Okay, we cool? But yeah. Spoilers. I think that goes without saying, but don't watch if you haven't played the game and you want to be surprised. Yup. Okay, let's start the video. So as you can tell, I've never reviewed a game before. I don't know how to do a review, so I'm just going to talk about what I found to be strong and weak about the games. I'm going to be subjective here, but also objective when necessary. But I'll let you know when something is in my opinion and not like an actual problem within the game. So, without further ado, here is my first Pokemon Sword and Shield review video thing. Just like any other Pokemon game, you start in a little town, this time in a place called Postwick. I actually found it really nice that the towns and cities in this game don't have the town or city suffix and are more realistically named. Like instead of it being so and so city, it's just so and this and that. I liked it a lot. I also love how the mother character is called Mum, like with a U and not Mom with an O. Just little things like that were really nice to someone like me who uses British English rather than American English. No shade to American English, I'm unfamiliar. Anyways, the game starts out very much the same as other games. You meet your friendly rival and grab your starter Pokemon, and because I was keeping it a surprise until the game's released, I chose Sad Boy Sobble, because we both like to cry a lot. Best friends. So when you return home to tell your mum that you're leaving her forever, Hop, your friend, wants to go save a Wooloo that rolled its way into the forbidden forest called the Slumbering Weald. It's very dangerous apparently, and we're not supposed to go in there. Kinda like the forest from Richard Appears Too Far. So in there, I did ask battles Ashian, like the one on the box. Not joking. And at this point I was too confusion. I couldn't hit or catch it, so I just kept trying to water gun this thing until it eventually disappeared into a thick fog. Epic. I was actually surprised how fast the game was progressing in the beginning. It was certainly a lot faster than Sun and Moon's intro. I actually got to the wild area within an hour. It was really great until a level 20 Onyx came and wrecked my whole team. The wild area is a really cool place. I like the idea of it, and it's large enough that it'll take you a fair amount of hours to completely explore everything there. It's not huge, but it is much larger than any of the routes and cities in the game, and you can also change the camera angles, which is a neat bonus. Even though you can only do it in the wild area, I had a great time playing around with the camera as the bagpipes blasted in the background, creating a really adventurous atmosphere that I think the game's pulled off very well. I think that graphically the game could have been more diverse, however, especially with certain weather effects which looked really similar, like the snow and the rain. I know there are some trees that people are getting really cut about, but like, they're trees, I don't mind. I think it all suits the style of the game, and if Game Freak were to jump into a hyper detailed rendering style, then it would be too jarring of a jump from Sun and Moon, if you get what I mean. I would however like to see Game Freak push the switch in the next generation. But Sword and Shield serve as a good stepping stone in the right direction, and there's nothing wrong with taking small steps. Think about how Diamond and Pearl look compared to Black and White, and X and Y to Sun and Moon. I'm sure that whenever Gen 9 comes out, whenever that may be, that it will be the graphically enhanced experience that everyone sought for in Generation 8. Moving forward, I'd like to see the Pokemon world become more open-ended like this, and the Galar region is designed in a way that feels like a large environment. The paths are a little too linear however, and you always know where you're going. That's not a bad thing though, and the games are designed for children after all, but some stray paths or alternative routes would have been a welcome addition. I also think the same goes for the cities. Everything looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, long and it all looks very full and lively, but that's my issue. It just looks full. And when you strip away all of the game's set dressing, there really isn't much in the way of explorable area. However, the region is large, and while there isn't much depth in the exploration, there are definitely still little nooks and crannies you can shuffle into and check out. And if you do manage to get lost in a forest or one of the mines, then you can just call for your escape rope at any time, because now it is a key item. I found this really good change. Long ago were the days where you simply can't find your way out and you have no escape ropes on hand, because now you always have one. Not that you really need it, but a really good idea. Okay, so I must confess that when I first visited the Glimwood Tangle, I did get lost, but it turns out I was just running in circles. Good job, me. Was the Morgrim worth it? Was it? It was. And speaking of new Pokemon, all the new Pokemon are wonderful additions to the lineup. Each one is memorable, and I haven't forgotten any, which I find to be a benefit to having less than 100 introduced. I would have loved to see more new Pokemon, however, but there was still a whole lot to discover. I actually discovered something new in every area of the game, and there were still discoveries to be made in the postgame, which I found very nice. All of the new Galarian forms are bosses. My favorite one is Meowth. I had no idea it was a Meowth until I actually encountered it and heard its cry. I freaked out, I cried, and then I caught it. I was also really excited to see it had a brand new evolution in Berserker. Some other neat evolutionary surprises for me were Rookity evolving into Corviknight. I honestly did not see that one coming. I also enjoyed seeing some Pokemon like Corsola evolve for the very first time, although I did have swords so I couldn't actually see Corsola turning into Corsola, but I saw some other ones and it was really awesome. I was a bit upset Eevee got no love this time around, however. I was actually expecting a new evolution, but I suppose that trend is over now. Okay, so the story. I do like the story. It's usually my favorite part of a Pokemon game, but I just gotta say, coming from Pokemon Sun and Moon to this was just disappointing. I think there was a good development in the beginning and the characters really shined. I especially love Sonia and Bede's arcs separately. They don't have related stories, but I feel the story was abandoned throughout the game and then picked up for a few moments when the game felt like it needed to roadblock you for a moment or two just to keep things spicy. And I do love keeping it spicy, but I grew a tolerance to that spice rather quickly. Did you like my analogy? Neither did I. Anyway, I just think that during the climax the story felt rushed and almost forced, like it just needed to do something for the sake of interest. Though I did enjoy learning about the characters and getting to know them and their backstories, but it just wasn't meaty enough for me. I think Pokemon would really have to shake it up again and go all out with some kooky new plot twist if they really want to top Sun and Moon. Like, they literally had the good is evil trope again, and compared to Lusamine, Rose is just a downright weak character. I actually liked Galarian Lusamine a lot more than him, just gotta say. But like, I'm not gonna completely crap on the story. It was alright for what it was, but it just wasn't strong enough coming from Generation 7. Finally, I'ma talk about the music. If you need to know one thing about me, it's that I'm a Pokemon music fanatic. I have every single soundtrack on my phone, which Masuda approves of, and I am very patiently waiting for the Sword and Shield soundtrack to be available so I can grab it ASAP. That is because, like all the other soundtracks, I adore the music in these games. Some quick favorites are Stow-Inside's theme, Sonia's theme, Oleana's battle, the Rose Tower Infiltration music, and the second Wild Area song, the one with the bagpipes. Boy does that song slap. It all slaps. I don't actually remember there being a dull moment in the soundtrack, and it was also inclusive of leitmotifs, which I'm very happy about, as it was one of the pluses about Sun and Moon soundtrack. And if you don't know what that is, it's when they carry on melodies throughout the soundtrack in different songs, and it makes it feel very cohesive. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's all together. I like it. I might have to do a Top Galar music video thing someday. I think I'd like that. I'd have to wait till it's released so I can listen to it some more, but yeah, something to consider for the future. Anyways, that is my little overview, review, whatever you want to call it, thingy about Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm still playing, currently hunting down every Pokemon so that I can get the glorious shiny charm. There's no national dex either, so it should cut my time in half if I really want to catch them all. Haha, that was a very fun comment to make. My final verdict would be that I really liked these games, but I didn't love them. unfortunately. There could have been a lot more depth to the story and just a bit more to do overall, but I am pleased with the first generation starting on the Switch, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Generation 8 unfolds. A good start in all honesty. Keep it up, Game Freak, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. I upload content about Pokemon, Fakemon, stuff like that really. I'm also doing a Pokemon Crystal randomizer, which I should probably return to at some point because it's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye!